If events are set up correctly on GA4, increasing engagement rate is pretty much always a good idea. So, what is engagement rate? I've just done a quick search. For some reason, I've searched it like Yoda instead of engagement rate GA4. What is? But it's summed up in the AI overview as engagement rate in Google Analytics 4 is a metric that measures the percentage of visits to a website or app that involves some sort of meaningful engagement. And I'd specify that more to a visit to a website's page, not just a website in general. So it's a new metric that provides a more comprehensive view of user interaction than traditional metrics like bounce rate. An engaged session is designed as a session that lasts longer than 10 seconds, has a key event, has at least 2 page views or screen views. Engagement rate can help to identify the quality and depth of user engagement with content. Interactions include clicking on a link, filling out a form, or spending a significant amount of time on the site. And there's an average of 62% according to that. That's a bit broad. I don't know if that's for website or it's for industries, but we'll ignore that for now. So, in general, we want pages to have a high engagement rate. And first off, how do we find out if a page has a high engagement rate? GA4 is where obviously it's at, but I've done it in a slightly different way. So I've crawled a site in Screaming Frog, then I've configured the GA4 API. So you can see there. To find the GA4 elements when you're in Screaming Frog, this will be the original screen. If you look at the tabs, click the drop down. If you go to Analytics, there, click into it, and then it's got the GA4 data synced into it. So it's a website called the Steel Gallery, which is an e-commerce website. So here we can see the GA4 data. So we can see sessions for each page, GA4 views, GA4 engaged sessions, GA4 engagement rate, which is what we were talking about earlier, GA4 key events, event count, and total revenue. I've done this is over the last 12 months. So I'm looking for URLs with a low engagement rate. Not concerned about these. It's out of one. Well, it's technically like 100%, but classed as one. All these have 100% engagement rate. So whenever someone lands on that page, they're spending a long time on it, or longer than 10 seconds, an event's happening, they're clicking through to another page, or they're buying, or something like that. So I'm not concerned. It's these pages, and it tends to be the ones with more views, and it kind of balances out, or more sessions with a lower engagement rate. Because obviously, the average is going to go down the more sessions happen. And we're only interested in, I'll tell you what, we'll do a filter. That'll be even better. Status code 200. I'm not interested in any redirect pages. Do another filter. Engagement rate. Hmm, I'd like an in between one, but we'll do less than 0.4 to start off with. So we can see the main culprits. And we'll just make sure it's not empty as well. GA4 engagement rate is not empty. There we go. So we've got five. Um, if I will just increase that to 0.5 because I did see a good opportunity here. That's better. All right. So these are all pages with a low engagement rate, using the sort of ratio where it's under half. So less than half of the visits have any significant engagement. So straight away, I'm looking at the URLs here. Oh, we'll just put in indexability as well. Make sure they're all indexed. Does not contain. No. So these are all indexable. Straight away, I'm looking at the URLs, seeing which ones are of commercial value and which ones aren't. Terms of service, shipping and returns, refund policy, store policy. Straight away, I'm not overly enamored with those. I don't really care if they have a high engagement rate. It's good if people are reading the store and refund policies. I mean, it's important if we're having a lot of refunds recently in the business, then maybe take a look at that and see if it's comprehensive enough and matches user intent. But I'm more concerned about the products and the collection pages, specifically collection pages, because that's where the majority of the revenue comes from. So when it comes to collection pages, the first one with the lowest collection page with the lowest engagement rate with a kind of significant amount of sessions, 289, is steel court and fire pits. So what I do with that, and any pages that you see similar, even if it's like a SaaS website or B2B, landing pages will be the key, like service pages or product pages. So collection steel court and fire pit. I go into Google Search Console, and I can hook the API up into Screaming Frog as well. But for now, I'll just get it up in Search Console. I've filtered for just that page with a low engagement rate, relatively, and we can see. And then I want to see why it's getting a low engagement rate, because if the site wide has got a low engagement rate, all under 0.5, then it could be a responsiveness issue. It could be a mobile version issue. It could be a site speed issue. It's a site wide issue, essentially. But if it's certain pages like this one, some pages have got really good engagement rate. Then I'm starting to look at user intent. Does the page match user intent? So filter by impressions, sort by impressions. The search query with the highest number of impressions is Court and Steel Fire Pit, ranking in 18th. And they're all kind of variants around that fire pit, bespoke fire pit, steel fire pit, and they're all not really broken onto page one for many of them. This could be for a number of reasons. It could be product coverage. It could be that search query doesn't quite fit user intent. It could be pricing. It could be the products. It could be the competitiveness of this key search phrase. So I'd go onto the page, steel core fire pits, and then analyze it. Does it match this search query as well as it should do? Because clearly people are landing on the page, but a good percentage of them are not satisfied with the content and with the products just because of user nothing to do with product quality. I know these products are really high quality and premium, but if we look onto the collection page, Court and Steel fire pits. Okay. I did notice this earlier, so I'm cheating a little bit, but they're all chimeneas. So they're all fire pits, that's agreed, but they're all chimeneas and they're slightly different designs. Really nice products, and you can tell that they'll fit in a market well and they will sell well if it fits the right user intent. Next part would be let's have a look at the SERPs. What's different about the pages that are ranking in the top three? And this is where a bit of SEO knowledge can come in handy, and doing it manually is usually the best thing. So we've got Court and Steel fire pits. And a lot of it's common sense. It's like, all right, so these are more expensive. So price is definitely not an issue. Free next day delivery. I mean, that's not on all of them. So again, that's not an issue. But lots more product coverage, lots more variation. And they're also not all chimeneas. If you look at it, they're on the ground level, they're really quite low, mini fire pits. They're not this sort of big triangular shape that you'd expect from a chimney. Let's look on result number two. Again, not all chimeneas, smaller versions, more variation, higher price point. That's not an issue. The design's quite unique on this one, but for use UX might not be as good. This is more like an image gallery than a product collection page. So look on three. So this isn't even optimized for steel coat and fire pits. There's not nothing in the H1. It's just fire pits. So this page must be successful because it's picking up the variant keywords. Again, we've got accessories, firelighters, different types of fire pits. But just looking at that imagery, I'd say users are not looking for chimneys in general. They're looking for these sort of more ground level fire pits, like lower down, seated round where they're like the focal point round some seating, rather than maybe in the corner. So straight away, there's a difference. We can't do anything about product coverage unless the client and the supplier were happy to get more products in, but that can be quite a long process. But what I would say is the page isn't exactly fitting user intent. So changing this to cotton steel chimeneas or cotton steel fire pits hyphen chimeneas and talking about chimeneas in the copy, exaggerating that. I mean, we'll even see, let's have a look. Cotton steel chimeneas. Let's see if we're ranking anywhere on there. All right, so we are on the page. One of the product pages is ranking eighth, but we could rank first for this, I believe, because these are product pages. We've got three. These look like old product pages. And it might be slightly less search volume, but it hits that intent perfectly. And this has all been discovered from looking hooking up the GA4 API, low engagement rate. That's where it's all come from. So if you need any help with that, obviously subscribe to the channel, give it a like, that'll be amazing. And ping me a message, fisherseo.com. And yeah, these are sort of the opportunities that you can uncover, not just from search. A lot of people just look at Search Console data, they're like, oh, it's got high impressions, low click, that's the opportunity. But it's not necessarily all about uh, what people are searching and the intent. You can discover things through GA4 and user behavior.